Everybody's looking for fresh voices and fun chats. Well, look no further. Join the Shorty Logic podcast. Every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're live with diverse topics and engaging chats. Mondays are for everyone, and Wednesdays are Ladies' Night. Subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. Like, share, and comment. We want to hear from you. Don't miss out. Come join the conversation.
What up, everyone? Yo, this is the Shorty Logic podcast. I am Shorty Logic. Here are my co-hosts.
What's up, everybody? This is Miss Sugar in the building. I want all the smoke. I know what it is.
Hey, y'all. This is Blessed. A more calmer, peaceful Blessed. How are y'all doing today?
Stop your mess. We got a nice little heavy hitter tonight, y'all. You know, the topic tonight is: should you put security and finance before love? Do you agree or disagree? And tell me why. You know, so before we all even comment on it, we go ahead and play the first video.
Which is more important between love and money in a relationship?
Okay, so personally, I think money is more important than love.
Hey.
Any relationship and even in marriage. Because without money, you can't fully express love. In fact, in most cases, before a lady will tell you that, the man truly loves me, she must have received something.
God.
That is the reality, yeah? Because without resources and money, you can't express love. And that is why the scriptures say, for God so loved the world that he gave.
See how you want on the scripture?
That is the reality, because without giving, you can't express love.
But love is... Because in marriage, love keeps us together.
But money drives the marriage.
Does it?
Because your makeup, your clothes, and everything comes from money, not from love. Let's say you meet a lady, and you want to show her that you love her. It's not by church or. If you don't have money, no walkings. You could just and they say talking stage without money, now gossip. That is the reality. Do you understand? Let's say in the olden days, there is love without money, and that's why we have a lot of poor people, poor offspring here and there.
Jesus.
Can you stay with a man without money? Be honest. You are in the presence of God.
Well. When I came down, I listened to that video, y'all. It was very interesting. But some things I agree, sometimes I don't. I mean, money, finance, whatever it is essential in a relationship. But what I do disagree is you can show and you can provide and show your love without finance, without money. It doesn't take finance to show your love, to show a woman how much you care for her. So when he said that, it takes money to show love, I disagree. What y'all got?
Me personally, I would have to say that there are some people out here that don't have any. You can see people on the street that are homeless couple, and they look happier than some of the damn people walking down the street that are driving by them with money. So I'm not going to say that you absolutely have to have a certain amount of money to have happiness. Now, does money help with a relationship? For sure. Because I do feel like that if you do not have some kind of stability, that you're going to have issues. And it's going to have issues because a lot of marriages have ended because of there's no finances, you can't pay your bills, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. So you do need money. Now, do you have to be financially sound to actually be in a relationship? No, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of people that started from the bottom together and made it to the top together. So no, I don't
Right.
think that you absolutely have to just be financially stable, you know, air quotes, to actually have a good relationship. I think that you can build upon, you know, you can build your relationship, but I don't think you need to walk around and both of y'all just dirt bed broke. No, you know, you
No.
got to have something, but at the end of the day, you don't have to have 50,000 in your account in order to make someone happy. I don't feel like you have to do that at all. Y'all both could be working at McDonald's, and you know, at the end of the day, as long as y'all sustaining and doing what y'all need to do and building and trying to do better with each other or for each other, then I don't feel like it's, yeah, I don't think that money is over love, because I think it's different circumstances. You know, it just depends on how you look at it and how you, what type of person, what type of mate you pick. Because if you pick the type of mate that only wants you for your money, then shit, you're gonna have to keep some money. But if you know, you build with somebody, then you know, I can see it both ways. But
Right. What you got, Miss Shun?
I agree with both of y'all. Like, I do. I agree with both of y'all. I just believe that, like Les said, it depends on the partner that you have. It really, really do. That's the biggest thing right there, depending on who you with. That's why you gotta talk about these things and have conversations with a person that you're dating or trying to be long-term with, so y'all can get an understanding of where y'all stand when it comes to finances and security. Because sometimes with security is not necessarily a part of finance. Security, for a woman's perspective, security is how that man treats her, how he holds her insecurities, are, you know, her emotions, how he responds to her, how he acts. The biggest thing about security is that with a woman. You know what I'm saying? So the security doesn't come in financially. Like, you do have some women out here that believe that security comes with financial. You know, but like I said again, it just depends on the person. Really, seriously.
Depending on who you choose.
Yeah,
Yes,
I agree with that.
because you could be out here, you see it all the time. You see people out here that look like they ain't got a pot to piss in and want to throw it out of, and they happy with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you, sometimes when you focus on the wrong thing in the relationship, especially something like finance could actually bring you more trauma and stress and problems than anything.
More money, more problems.
Yes.
You got some of the most richest people out there lonely and sad.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And then, like, I see a lot of cases. I see a lot of people do interviews about, you know, just about relationship, what their dating life is about. You know, they're saying it's hard for them to date because they don't know who is really there for them or for their money or their success. So how can they really know? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of these rich, maybe from like other races and nationality. They go undercover to go and try to meet people. You know. Yeah. Just to see how people really are and see can they find real love, and then at the end they reveal their success.
Yeah, it definitely happens.
Yeah,
it definitely happens.
It's an old saying that says, "I'd rather be rich in heart and then poor than to be poor and be rich. Be poor in heart and then rich."
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I tell you what I did when I was in the Army? With me and a couple guys, we was going to the basketball court, whatever, and I had nothing but I had nothing but a white t-shirt on, some balling shirt on, and I had, matter of fact, I had my old white Air Force One that was looking green, whatever, because I cut grass in them, whatever. And all my other guys, they wasn't in the Army, you know what I'm saying, but they, you know, real cool. They worked in factories, so then when they were in Jordan down and everything, but a lot of the couple girls came to the court, you know, so they went for them. They didn't come talk to me. But tell me, like 2 weeks later, the same girl that I wanted to talk to, I seen her and the car that I had at the time, and then she seen me in uniform at the gas station. She said, "I remember you." I said, "Yeah, you ain't talk to me. Y'all didn't want to talk to me." She said, "Well, that I was on some other bull crap." So now she want to talk to me because now she see what I got on. Because her first thing she said, "Oh, you got money." That's the first thing she said.
It's really no different. I mean, this society nowadays, they thrive off that. Just like the fact that, you know, it's no different than a man. You have some men out here that want what they see because what you always say, they are visual creatures. And then when they get it, then they find out it ain't where it at. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it really depends on the space and the place that you're in your life. Because I always say that as you progress to get older, your priorities change. Your ideal of what a relationship and what you desire in a relationship changes as you proceed to get older and older and older. So
Right.
it hits you differently. When you're young and you're in your 20s, yeah, you gonna want that man or want that woman that look like they just everything,
Yeah,
But you gotta be careful because everything that glitter ain't gold. But
that
as
is
you
true.
continue to hit your 30s, then some priorities start to switch around, and you're like, well, you know what? Let me step out of my comfort zone in my box. When you hit your 40s, you definitely in this place where you have an epiphany. It's an eye opener.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember when I was growing up, I used to hear the ones that was older than me, like my sisters and them in their 30s, was like, shh, them ugly ones treat you the best. I used to hear that all the time. And then now, it's like, it don't matter who it is. You could be ugly, cute, halfway decent, whatever, it don't matter. You got to look on the inside from the
Right.
inside out rather than the outside in, because you'll fuck around and find out.
You fuck around and find out.
And it ain't what you want.
I asked the guy today, and he was chopping it up. And I asked the guy today, I said, let me give you the scenario. And I want y'all to look at it too. So you got a horse, you got a zebra, and you got a donkey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they basically kind of similar, right? They favor.
Yeah.
So you got the horse, you got the zebra, and then you got the donkey. So in a race, who will win?
I'm taking the donkey.
I'm taking the zebra.
No. Wrong. So this is the thing. The horse will win.
In a race, of course, you would take the horse because the horse.
You know the horse. I was being.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So the horse will come first. The zebra will come next. Then the donkey.
The donkey slow as shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, what do we call the donkey?
A jackass.
What is the last word in their name?
Ass.
That's what most men chase to, and that's why they fail.
Mm-hmm. But the reason I chose the donkey is because the donkey's going to be slow and patient.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to pace itself.
Yes, yeah. And that's why I chose the donkey.
Yeah. But yeah,
everything that glitter ain't gold. You know what I'm saying? Like you could like just with that scenario alone, like you could take the horse, and of course the horse is gonna be faster,
it's gonna be
bigger,
right.
He's stronger. Yes, he gonna get you to your destination quick. But what do you got to sacrifice in between time and the meantime? So that's why I said I'd rather take the donkey, because the donkey's gonna be slow and patient with me.
That's fast. And so that scenario goes into the nice guy. Nice guy finished last. Yeah. So
yeah.
He said I never heard that before. He said that was very interesting.
Yeah.
So, but the clue comes to that is basically men always chasing the ass, and that's when they fail. That's why they always fail.
That's where y'all fail.
Yeah. And then you have I'm not gonna say all men do it though.
Majority. I'm gonna say majority.
Majority, yes. But you have some men out here that, and I ain't gonna lie, you have some women out here that look at the men who are with certain women, and they're like, how did she pull him? Why he with her and shit like that. They don't even know the inside of their relationship. They just look from the outside. I used to go through that a lot when I was younger. When I was younger, that's why I always said I was the underdog. I was the underdog. I've been the underdog all my life. You know what I'm saying? And so I was that girl. I was the one that had the guy that the real pretty girl look at, and then she'd be like, how did she get him? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, in my head, I never spoke out loud about it, but in my head I was thinking, but you don't know me. You don't know me. You know what I'm saying? You don't know me. I'm
the one. Nuts, y'all. A little nuts.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I'm that one. I ain't got to be the prettiest girl in the world, but you know what? That man treat me like I'm golden because he know what I am on the inside. He took the time to get to know me. He took the time to value me. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just always thought that was funny.
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna go on and hit that to the next video, y'all.
Most women get married because they want financial security. Why else would I tie myself down to you, have your children, if you're not going to take care of us?
Because I love you, you love me. We can sleep in the sleeping bag outside. We love each other.
Oh my God.
That's why you get married, right?
No.
If he loves her, he's going to grow with her and love her. The money.
Nobody cares about that.
And
Nobody
that's
cares.
why the world
I'm
is messed
sorry.
up right now. Because these women think money is the end all be all.
I'm sure if you had a daughter, you would not want her with a man who has nothing and just loves her.
I'm not going to allow my daughter to marry a guy just because he got some money. So we're going to put it on two scales. I know he got $100 million. I can see it. I know it. Yeah. And I can see and know this man love my daughter with his heart, soul, do whatever for, good, bad, rich, poor. I'm going to go with this side. What the fuck is money? They both going to die anyway.
I see both sides of the spectrum. I see both sides of the spectrum because I've been in both sides of the spectrum. I've talked about this before. The first time I married for love, and you know what came with it? A bunch of heartache, a bunch of bullshit, a bunch of cheating. It was a whole lot of other shit. Yeah, I was in love head over heels. But at the end of the day, when I say weight fluctuating, hair getting thin, stressing out, I was like, damn. So then the next time I got married, my uncle said, you know what? The next time you get married for stability. So that's exactly what I did. So the next time I got married for stability. It is what it is. I just tell the truth about it. So with that being said, are things always perfect over here? Absolutely not. Are things always hell over here? Absolutely not. So, you know, you got to take the good, the bad, and the ugly. You put yourself in that position and you got to deal with it. So right. It is what it is. You gonna fucking shit or get off the pot.
Said marriage is a contract.
It is a contract.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But see,
yeah,
I don't know. You know, I am so. When I step into my wilderness, I'm grateful for it because I was blessed to have the last of the Mohican, the last of the dying breed raise me. So I'm grateful for that. Mm-hmm. But marriage has never, the way I look at marriage, and I, my mom's side of the family, everybody was married. But the way I look at marriage is that it's a New Testament when you step into marriage. It's different than being in a relationship. Mm-hmm. But marriage has never been a contract to me. I never looked at it like a contract because really back in the day, there was no paper to sign. It was a spiritual commitment to each other. You see what I'm saying?
It was.
So, and a lot of things has changed since then. And that's why I feel like a lot of the value of what marriage really is failing now.
Definitely.
Yeah, the government took control of the whole marriage, of my whole marriage.
I said that. I said that. I have said that plenty of times before. Yes, that's for the government. That paper is not for you. It's for the government. It's for the government to be able to keep tabs on you, y'all finances and everything else. You see what I'm saying? What she say?
A contract between you, him, and God.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that is right. That's true.
But they take God out of everything now.
That's true. I can agree with that.
Yes, totally can agree with that. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the next video. This is strictly for the men here because they fuck up too, and this is what they really need to listen to this.
One big mistake men make in relationships is being ignorant reassurers. Men love to reassure their female partners. Oh, babe, everything's gonna be okay. You don't need to worry about it. But they are ignorant often about money. Meaning, the ignorant reassurers I talk to, they actually are not really good with money. It's their wives or girlfriends who are the ones managing the day-to-day. And they'll complain or worry to their partner, I don't know if we're gonna have enough. And their partner, their male partner, will come along saying, babe, it's gonna be fine. How do you know it's gonna be fine? You're not even involved in the money. You are an ignorant reassurer. You're simply trying to reassure your partner, babe, it's okay, you don't need to worry about it. But you don't actually know about the finances. So this is one of the biggest mistakes men make. It would be much better if they simply said, you know what? I actually don't know about our finances. I would love it if you could show me what you're working on because I realize I need to learn. That is how you go from being an ignorant reassurer to a true financial partner.
Amen.
I want to get your perspective on that video.
Very true.
You said what?
I want to get your perspective on that video.
I say it's very true.
Yeah.
I live it right now.
Yeah.
Like my husband literally comes home, just gives the check and be like, he knows nothing about
it's
nothing.
It's lazy work. It's lazy
nothing about
work.
Nothing.
No, I told my son, I told my daughter-in-law one day, I said, you know, I remember one time my son went to go pay a bill. He was supposed to go pay the light bill, and he paid the water bill. And so, you know, they was laughing about it, but they was like, how did you do that? And I told my daughter, I said, that's your fault. Because you know what? And I told him that's his fault. Because the reason is that you let her control all the aspects when it comes to the bills. And therefore, you didn't even know where to go to even pay the light bill.
Correct.
Because you it's lazy work. And what I mean by that is that if you don't even take the initiative to try to learn these things, for me, I always tell my son, you have to learn these things so you know how to do it on your own.
Right.
But you can't do it on your own when you have your wife acting like your mama, or are you just being lazy and not taking the initiative to figure out what you need to do. So therefore, you know, you gotta think ahead, not behind.
Yeah.
You have to think ahead, not behind. That's not me speaking a bad future upon y'all. I'm just saying you never know. You know, it could be down the line, years down the line, something happened to one of y'all, and you need to know how to do this and how to do that. And you won't know because you were so used to her handling everything. You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I feel like every bill, it ain't even gotta be a bill. If y'all together, you're a unit, you as one. So everything that y'all do in that marriage or relationship, she should know everything that's going on, and I should know everything.
That's
Come
right.
to find, and it's go beyond finance.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just how I see it. You know?
Yeah. But some men are just lazy and don't want to know, and that's the truth. Some men are lazy and just don't. Because I've had conversations when I'll be like, "Hey, you know, we need to sit down to dinner." Oh, I ain't worried about that. Here, I'm gonna give you the money. I'm like, damn. Like,
some people are in a whole relationship and don't even realize that they've been delegated a job, and that's what makes it feel like a job or obligation, because you've been delegated to do this. Now I'm gonna come home, bring the money to you, and then you need to do this, and this, and this. But see, when a woman says something like that, then sometimes men get offended because they feel like they're being chastised by the woman, but it's not being chastised. She's actually trying to put you on. Because see, the downfall is that a man, and I'm not saying all men, I'm just saying some men have an idea in their mind of what a woman is supposed to do in the household, but they're also cheating themselves with delegating everything to her. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
You delegate everything. You delegate everything to her, and you cheating yourself. You cheating yourself because you want to be a part of something, but you don't want to be a part of it. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. It shouldn't work like that. Right. Especially if you're in a marriage and you committed to being this one unit together. That means you know all the aspects of the household, how it's running, how it's functioning, just like she did.
Right.
Like, yeah, and it gets stressful. After a while, it's like, damn, you sit here calculating bills. It's a lot. I feel like I'm a bookkeeper. I am literally a bookkeeper. That's what I do.
And you have these young men out here that don't even know how to maintain on their own. They so used to have been living with the woman and letting the woman handle everything that if they did get up on their feet and get out here and have their own place, they wouldn't even know how to function because they're so used to having these different women in their lives to delegate everything. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they go from their mother doing it to whoever the person is they're dating doing it. Then they one day get married, their wife is doing it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now, this next video, I don't really like this man, but on this clip right here, I totally agree, 100,000%.
Every couple should have 4 bank accounts. You have the one bank account where both of you put your check in, and that's your joint account. It pays bills, light, car notes, everything that's a necessity to live. The second account, a savings account, where you both agree to put X amount of dollars of that money in it, and it takes 2 signatures to move it. The third and fourth account, she should have her own bank account, and you should have your own bank account. She can do whatever she want to do. She ain't got to check with you and ask, and you can do whatever you want to do, and you ain't got to check with her and ask. And that way, guess what? The bills are paid, you have a roof over your head and a car to drive, you all are trying to save a little bit of money, and you got to have your own life.
I definitely agree with that.
I agree with
I
that.
agree with that.
I definitely agree with
Do
that.
y'all realize? I read the comments of that. Do you realize a lot of women disagree with that?
Oh,
I agree with it.
Yeah, I was just reading. I couldn't go through. It was like almost 4,000, little 4,000 comments. I read the first 20.
What were they not agreeing with? Having their own account or putting money into an account where y'all split for pay the bills? I bet that's what it was.
Putting the money in the account, and a couple of them were saying they don't agree. It takes two signatures to pull money out of there.
But see, I'm gonna tell you something. That right there, see, I knew that one right there would be a problem for a lot of people because now the funny part for me is that you want a committed relationship, but you don't want committed obligations. Like that's a committed obligation. So you have. Let's just be honest. I'm gonna be real honest right here, and I know some people gonna feel some type of way, but I'm just gonna put it out there because you know what? If you don't take accountability, you'll never fucking grow. You have some women that are very selfish out here. So in their mind, they want, especially if he's a man to come home and give all the money to her. You can spoil a woman to a certain type of way. That's in the household. So if you're so busy catering to her, giving her the money for everything, doing this and doing that, she becomes accustomed to that. So when you take that away from a brat, what happens?
Not a brat.
No, a temper tantrum. A temper
tantrum.
It's absolutely right.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, but there are some women out here that are different because even though my husband comes home and gives me a whole check, he ain't gotta ask for shit twice. If he say, "Oh, I see these new Jordans and I want these," all right, and he gonna get that. So at the end of the day, it's like I'm different.
Right.
And anybody who knows me will know I'm different. I don't give a damn what you come home and give me. His wardrobe match my wardrobe. I'm talking about if I get a pair of Jordans, he got them. If I buy me a fit, he got it too. So that's just who I am. So
see, I don't see nothing wrong with it.
I see nothing wrong with it because, like you said, you got 4 account. Tamika said, Steve Hart's correct. I've been doing this for years. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it allows y'all the opportunity to communicate better as well. Y'all learn how to communicate and function with each other much better. When y'all have a situation like that, look, what is the problem with having to sign two signatures on a savings account?
Nothing.
That lets each one of y'all know what is going on with that account.
What's coming in and out.
So there's no you having to question him. There's no him having to question you or anything. So what's wrong with being on an even board with each other? It's the perfect thing, actually.
I didn't see nothing wrong with it at all.
I ain't seen nothing wrong because that particular account is straight for bills.
Yeah,
it's straight for bills. Both of y'all,
and like you said, that way you know the bill is taken care of. Y'all know that y'all have a rainy day fund that either one y'all have access to for whatever's going on. And then on top of that, he even threw in there the fact. Now this is what blows me. Now the people that commented on that video, they were so intrigued with the fact of having that mutual account and having both signatures on there because they stingy. They don't want to share what the fuck they got going on. Let's just be real. They don't want you to know what the fuck they got going on. But they missed the whole part at the end when he said, and he has his own account and you have your own account.
Yes.
That's what those accounts are for.
You don't have to question him
and you don't want to have to question him about it, you have your own account. If he got something you want to put something out for, you know, he got his own account, so therefore there's no issue. But see, people look past that and what they're thinking about is, well, what this motherfucker doing with his extra money that he got?
I'm gonna tell you what they thinking. What if I make more than him and I'm putting more into the account than him? That's what they're thinking about.
But
which is crazy. I guarantee you that has something to do with it because if somebody makes more than the other and we putting in a joint account, there's always. I'll put it like this: what if he can only afford to put after he puts money in all the rest of the accounts? Maybe he can only afford to put $30-$40 in that account. Maybe she can afford to put $150 in the account. But eventually, it's going to become a problem.
But that's why I just said that's the problem for that fourth account. The fourth account problem is the fact that they want to know what each other got going on outside of those 3 previous accounts. That's what I said because they just want to be nosy. They want to be nosy. I said they want to sit here and be like, I wonder how much money he got left to put.
I wonder if he put something.
Here's the thing. But see, I actually that clip don't give that show justice because I've seen that show that show actually live because what he actually went into and said we're gonna come up with an amount. what we're gonna put in that account, that fourth account. Now we know what the bills are, so we already know what we need to put in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he was talking about. So it can't be no, well, I want when he put this in there. No, y'all have a certain amount that you have to put in there. If you want to put extra in there, you can. That's why I feel like that video wasn't justice of it went longer.
I feel like the fourth account should be irrelevant. It should be irrelevant because if that fourth account is for each one of y'all to have an individual account to do whatever you want to do with it, then it shouldn't matter what amount you put in there.
Yeah,
it shouldn't matter.
Right, exactly. That's what
true.
I said. It shouldn't matter. But I guarantee you, that's
matter.
where most of the fussing's gonna be coming from. I
Right,
guarantee.
and that's what I was saying. Some people just want to be extra nosy with their partner because, let me tell you something. You could fuck around and find out, and because you're in your feelings. See, sometimes you gotta be careful what you wish for because see, you might not want it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can fuck up your relationship just off the dollar alone because you upset because he got more money in there or she got more money in there than you do. And now you want to throw a temper tantrum about it. But we already set this up to be what it was, so why is it a problem?
But the comments was real about the one that you have to have two signatures about. That's the ones about. They didn't. A lot of the females didn't like the fact that you had to have two signatures on that account. But that account that he was speaking about was the bill one. That was the one he was speaking about.
But that's the purpose of a joint account.
Right.
So y'all both can make the decisions on what comes in and out of it.
Right. That's why I said they missed the message in all of that. They skipped right over it because they immediately felt some type of way. And let me tell you something, for the ones that comment on it and felt some type of way about that, that is a stingy motherfucker. That is somebody who do not want to be a team with you, because if they wanted to be a team with you, they would have caught the message, understood it, and received it. But because they can't receive it, that is a motherfucker who don't have the household itself in the best interest.
Facts.
Period.
That's crazy. I think it's a great idea. Matter of fact, it might be a conversation real soon. That's amazing to me. I like it a lot.
It's a really great idea.
I do. I think if you do that, it takes a lot of unsaid conversations when it comes to the finance or what bill this gonna get paid. Just like what I'm saying. So I feel like we both putting money into the account, so we know for a fact every month
bills are covered.
Get paid.
And allows that couple to grow. It allows them to grow because it's not just about, in a relationship, in a marriage, it's not just about sex. It's not just about finances. It's not just about this and that. But it does allow that couple to grow, because if you can sit down and have a mature conversation about a joint account, you got a chance.
Right.
I'm gonna reiterate.
Hey,
all
Troy.
those other things are important as well. Because if you got a relationship that ain't no sex going on, that's a problem. If you got a relationship where ain't no money
but I'm saying that's the common sense of shit in a relationship. That's the common sense of shit in a relationship, though.
Right. Because you got to be throwing. I mean, don't get it wrong. It's an amazing thing if you can. Because people always say, "Oh, sex doesn't matter in a relationship." Bull.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does.
Bullshit.
It absolutely does matter.
Listen, because if you not taking care of your home, and that's male or female, I don't give a damn who you are. If you are not making sure that person is feeling loved, respected, cherished, if you're not touching them, you're not telling them how beautiful they are today or how handsome he is today. Like, that shit matters sometimes. It matters. Right. So if you not sitting there
all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, but if you don't have to say it to me every day, you definitely don't. I'm not that type of person. I'm not vain. You don't have to sit there and tell me every day how I make you feel. You don't have to do all that. But what I'm saying is, make that person feel that they are wanted. You have to make them feel sexy. And if you're not touching your mate, rather it be holding them, having sex with them, making them feel sexy, eventually it's going to be a problem, because please believe it's somebody out there who will, and it's waiting. So you're going to have to get that together. So at the end of the day, it's
that's true, Troy. Both ways.
Both ways, absolutely. But that's why I said male and female. That goes for everybody. You have to make that person feel wanted, because even if you're a woman out here and you're not giving your man any attention and you're not making him feel wanted, it's only going to be a matter of time. He's only going to give you so many signals before he be like, hey, listen, it's a problem. And then he going to find somebody who will. Vice versa.
And that's the thing. The funny part is how you said it. You said he's going to give you the signals, because women are more verbal and men will give you signals.
Yes. And a woman's going to sit you down. But a woman's going to sit you down and be like, hey, listen, this ain't where it's at. Like, I need this. This is what I need from you. And if you're
with
still
a lot of men, you have to search for the answer, because they're not just going to say it outright. I always say men are not taught to be emotional creatures. Women are taught to be emotional creatures. So
from the time y'all come out the womb.
Yes, so it's different communication styles, but that's why I also said we talked about this. Me, you, and Blessed talked about this before, that men have to be more verbal.
Absolutely.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not a mind reader. I'm not a mind reader. Now, I'm gonna read that because Kelly done came here with a whole damn book.
I'll read it. Okay. Even though they say I was reading slow, but you know, fuck that.
That's Tamika.
It says Tamika too, talk.
Yeah.
I don't want to know every coin he get and vice versa. Vaughn, you know me.
Yeah.
I think 10 steps ahead. I don't just have checking and savings, but I have a money market, CDs, different APRs, stock bonds. Think long term, not short term, financially and emotionally. I love these topics, y'all. Black people need to talk about this more often. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you.
Appreciate it.
I had a conversation with my guy, and I told him, I said, you know, he didn't understand. He was like, well, if I give you $2,000, just go do whatever you want to do, why would you not spend it all? And I gave it to you to do whatever you want. I said, I don't know if it's just a woman thing or a mother thing or what. I said, but you know, for me, I have felt on hard times more than none in my life. So for me, it's a natural thing for me to want a backup plan.
Right.
I want a backup plan. So you can give me that $2,000. That's fine. But I'm not gonna spend the whole $2,000.
Right. Put some up for a rainy day.
I'm not frivolous like you know, like you are, because for me, what I'm thinking is long term. I'm thinking you never know what storm is coming.
That's right.
And you may come in here and say, baby, the whole shit done blew to hell because this happened or that happened or whatever. And here I am ready, because I'm gonna be like, we straight. And then you shouldn't be upset about that, because that means I got our back.
Yeah, I agree.
Not just mine, our back, because I knew it was gonna be a rainy day because I done been through enough storms.
That's right. I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So you learn, and that's why I say the priorities start to hit different as you proceed to get older. You learn how to be prepared for it because you already done walked through it.
Absolutely. I agree.
You know, that is true. You know what I'm saying? As you get older, you change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I completely agree with y'all.
We can go. Hey there. We're gonna get to the next video.
All right.
Let me put something on the back end of what I'm about to say, because it's about to sound crazy when I say it. Stop going after money. No, wait, because I'm not telling you not to have standards. Go after men that are generous. Because there's a pretty huge difference. A man that's generous is not about how much he makes, it's in his nature to give. And he's going to make sure that he may not be able to buy you the $20,000 purse, he may not be able to, but he's gonna make sure you straight, because that's who he is. Yeah. You go after a nigga with money, he might be stingy as
So then you gotta get rid of that nigga with money, but a nigga that's generous gotta be generous with something. Like, you gotta have something to be generous with. What you gonna give me, air?
Generous is about a heart.
And here's what I say about that is,
I absolutely agree.
What's up, Nina?
Well, you know,
What's up?
they always talking about, you know, I mean, you heard what she said, a nigga gotta be generous, you know, with this and that, but what he said, Tripp said, man gotta be generous with his heart, you know. So they kind of twisted that up a lot. A lot of females and like kind of twist that up, unfortunately.
Well, let me clarify what he meant. What he meant is you find you a man who's good to you. You're never gonna have to ask because
That's
he's
right.
naturally, organically gonna
give
do what
it.
he need to
Yep.
do. And it
Yep.
may not necessarily be the money. It could be just the conversation, protecting your heart, protecting your feelings. A man is of service to you because he chooses to be of service to you. That's what you want. You want a man who chooses to be of service to you, not a man who's gonna say, "I'll give you this," and then later on go throw that shit in your face.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck you, bitch. You know what I'm saying? That's what he meant when he said, "Find a man who is generous."
Or
He will
take
be
it back
generous
when he
with
get
his
mad at
time. He will be generous with his mental, his emotional, his spiritual, his physical. He will be generous with all of that naturally for
That's
you.
right. That's right. I understood the assignment, trust me, because
Okay, I know.
I mean,
You know, we
listen,
know.
it's a big difference because, like he said, a man can be rich, and that don't mean it's going to benefit you. He might not give you a red dollar.
That's why I say he
and
need to be
take your
rich in
ass
heart.
steal the Wendy's on his $100,000 check. He gonna take your ass steal the Wendy's. But at the end of the day, you got a man that might have slaved and worked hard for that money. He might not have bought nothing but $200 home. And if his heart is these type of men to take you and go spend $100, half of what they done earn just to make you happy. They don't have to, but that's just in their heart. I know. I'm telling you what I know.
And they rich in heart, rich in heart.
And there you go.
I can completely agree on that. Let me speak on this topic real quick, y'all, before I go back in here. The topic had touched me because, for one, I ain't know no better. You live and you learn, you know?
Yeah, you do.
And I was with this guy ever since I was 21, and we split up when I was like 30, 31. And like the whole time I was with him, I didn't think about it after the situation happened, but the whole time I was with him, I couldn't get my shit. The whole time I was with him, I didn't have to work or none of that. I worked because I just wanted to and a little extra money in my pocket, but the whole time I was working, I wasn't safe. And then when stuff hit the fan, with me being so used to somebody taking care of me, now here I am, 31, out here struggling. Well, if I would have known better and would have been stacking up, saving up, or had a plan B instead of just thinking everything was all peachy, you know, I wouldn't be in the situation that I am today. So I would tell anyone, man or woman, it's best to be financially stable. Yes, it's good to be happy and, you know, be in love too, but at the same time, don't be dumb. Don't do what I did. Don't be dumb. Make sure you're financially stable. And I would tell anybody too, even your partner, you know, as the man just said, find somebody that's generous. Of course, you want somebody that has money too, but find somebody that's equal with you. That can bring the same thing to the table that you can bring, if not more. You know, you don't want to be financially stable and then you fall in love with somebody that's not financially stable. And you're gonna, I not say it like that, but depending on how deep in love you are, them finances gonna slowly come down. And then once they come down, he's gonna be gone and you're gonna be sitting there looking stupid. But if you find somebody that's on the same path as you, and you know that's not looking for you just for just money, you know everything will work out. And then like the man said, they go man or woman, man or woman. If the woman want to be generous to a man, I'm pretty sure she would. And if the man want to be generous to a woman, I'm pretty sure he would. So it always has both ways.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you something that a lot of people don't hear and they don't pay attention to. Now, this is nothing to discourage anybody in a relationship or marriage, but one thing for me that I've always realized is that you don't have faith in mankind, have faith in yourself. You always got to have faith in yourself first. That is what applies to you having faith in your relationship and y'all becoming a team. You have somebody who matches your faith. And what I mean by that is that's what I mean when I say I'm the rainy day fund. Even if you don't think about it, I got our back. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know what's coming. Have faith in yourself first. That's the first thing you need to do. Because a lot of humanity out here has failed because they have faith in mankind rather than have faith in themselves first.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense. I agree. George said true.
Yeah.
True indeed. True indeed.
What'd she say?
Would you if a man helps you out but you're not in a relationship, is that him being generous? Yeah. because I'm in a somewhat situation like that. But it also depends. Cause I ain't even gonna lie, I'm trying to get out of my situation. Now, if the man is with somebody and he's generous, go ahead and
No,
stop it.
but
Don't do that.
I would say this. Like I would say this to her. Like you saying y'all not in a relationship, but he's being generous. Yes, that's being generous. That's mean he's being generous of his heart. He wants to do it, but don't make it into he's obligated.
That part.
Don't make it to like he's obligated when he's actually being generous about it.
Mm-hmm. And plus, sometimes you gotta understand. Sometimes when you're in a situationship, it's
both of you single.
Yes, he may be generous, but he also may be how can I put this?
Agenda. What's he getting out of it?
Exactly. He could be paying for your time when it's beneficial to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what it is. And so you don't want to sit there and get yourself caught up in a fantasy when that's not the reality.
Right.
Because sometimes we have a tendency to do that. We will sit there and create a fantasy in our head because you feel like because he is being generous that maybe this is more regardless of what he say out of his mouth. But let me tell you something. You got to hear when a man tell you something like that, when he say, I don't want to be in a relationship, but he's being generous or whatever, it's no different than a woman. When they do that, when a person does that, hear them. Don't create your own narrative. Hear what the hell they're saying because that's exactly what the hell they meant.
Yeah.
No more, no less.
Sometimes, either way, we ignore that.
Right, because we'll get caught up in what they do for us and forget all about the part where he said, I don't want a relationship. I may just want to bump on you every now and then and shit, and I look out for you. Hey, it ain't tricky, but somebody got to do it. It ain't easy, but somebody got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
stop that.
I'm prime example. Because I've dealt with someone, and we did everything together. We did concerts and dinners on each side of the family, events and everything. But every chance that person get, saying we're not together, but the things that we were doing like we was couples. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking in my head that we're a couple, but in the end we're not.
Right.
So
exactly.
I've been there.
Yeah. We take a little sight of the reality.
So
at least that person didn't sell you short. They told you y'all weren't in a relationship. So if you chose to believe that you were, then
but they were just like Michelle said, believe that person what they said.
You got to believe.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like don't
create your own fantasy in your head because we got a tendency to get caught up in what a person do for us.
Yes.
But not what they said to us. And so we lose sight on that. We lose sight on the fact that what we set this out to be is what it is, and that's it. Just because I may be, I may like to just cater to you a little bit because it may be just my thing. But at the end of the day, I'm still single, you still single.
Right.
Believe that.
You better believe it.
Putting your own self in a goddamn chokehold shit.
Yeah, I know. Well, we got one more video for the night, y'all.
Hey, La Familia, I'm just here to share some of the good things about marrying for love as opposed to marrying for money. Thank you for watching, La Familia. I hope you found that helpful.
I missed the whole message.
What was the message?
That was the message. She was okay. The message was okay. Listen. The message was she's gonna explain what is the difference? Are married for love or married for money? Or married for love over money? But basically, what she's saying, she was silent, meaning she don't go for love, go for money. I'll play it again.
Yeah, you gotta play it again.
Yeah,
yeah. That's basically what it was. She got silent about getting married for love. That's what it sounds about.
Hey, to each his own.
Right.
To each his own.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Like I said the other day, it depends on the individual. The thing is, a lot of people know what they want, they just don't speak it. And if you just be honest with yourself and be honest with that person when you communicate with that person and say, hey, look, right now I don't want a relationship, but okay, prime example, I'm gonna tell you something. So with older women, I'm gonna use women as an example. With older women, sometimes if we're not in a relationship, and maybe, I know it's hard for men to understand this, but sometimes a woman just want to get her rocks off too. She may be in a phase where she just want to get her rocks off. So she meets somebody, she say, hey, look, I don't want a relationship. I just want to, do our thing from time to time, and then that's it. But then it seems like she grasps the opposite of that, because that men tend to take some things as challenges. She said she didn't want this, but that can change all the stuff. This is the psychological thing that they go through in their head, because they automatically look at it like a challenge. She says she don't want this, but once I do this and once I do that, it's gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the case. The case is, I really just want to knock you down and go home. That's it.
Yeah, sometimes that can be very true. I agree.
Right. So, people put their own selves in a position sometimes to take it to an extra extent that they didn't have to go to, because she was very clear about what she said. Right. It ain't no different than a man saying, I want a relationship, I just want a friend with benefits. Okay, cool. But see, now the problem right there is when that woman matches that energy and she said, I got it, I understood the assignment, and then she walk away, then that's another challenge for them, and they get in their feelings because they're like, so she just gonna walk away from me like that. But you said what you said.
Right. That part.
Yeah.
It'd be like that.
Yeah.
It'd be like that.
You said what you said, but see that in that man's mind, he tend to feel a little inadequate, because he's like, "Now you ain't just gonna fuck on me and then just go on your way." But I said that at the beginning,
right?
So where is it misunderstood at? You get what I'm saying?
It'd be like that.
But if the tables turn, like I said, if the table turns with a man be like, now if a woman say, "Fuck all that, I ain't trying to hear all that shit," he gonna be mad. Then you know what's gonna happen? The man gonna fall back, because he be like, I said I just want to friends with benefits, man. You out here doing the most, all this,
right.
Yeah.
So
the thing about it is, I really truly feel like that people get in their mind, oh, if I sex this person up real good and make them feel special, then eventually they will want to be with me.
Yes, you can't change nobody.
No.
No, she said, men getting their feelings. You're right. And I will say this. I say eventually, if you say, oh, it's just nothing but sex, we're going to link up, whatever. Eventually, if you spend, I don't care who you are, I don't care how tough you are, eventually, if you spend enough time with each other, you're going to have feelings. Sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes.
I do feel like this. I do feel like if you spend a lot of time and you're feeling this person, and you will eventually get some kind of feeling, but is it enough to make you want to jump in a relationship? Or is
sometimes
I care about this person, I'm feeling this person, I don't want to see this person hurt, but at the same time, I'm not where I need to be mentally to even be back or be with this person. Mm-hmm. I like where we are. I like the connection we have. That doesn't mean that I don't care about your feelings. It doesn't mean that I don't like you. It doesn't mean that I'm not attracted to you. I have to be attracted to you to keep dealing with you. But at the end of the day, are you the person that I want to settle down with? That's something totally different.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, all that comes into play. No, I agree with all that do come into play. But like I said, now you're going deeper than that. Like you thinking on mentally going farther than your mental. Okay, cool. If that comes into place, then that person might need to fall off, or might need to step back, or you need to step back. But like I said before, if both of y'all said, boom, we just gonna fuck on each other, cool. Like I said before, sometimes it's a 50-50 in my mind. It's a 50-50. It's a toss up. Y'all might catch feelings, or you don't, or you do.
I feel like when you start to catch feelings, that's because that's where lust come in. That's where somebody done put it on you so good that you didn't think it was gonna be like that, and it was, and that's where lust come in.
That is true. Some people, well, that's
where sometimes them soul ties get created.
Most people do, mix up and get it twisted of lust and love.
Yes.
But if you really emotionally intelligent and actually pay attention, you'll know which one it is, because that could say if you you with someone and you said you just want to hit just off and on, you know what I'm saying? Boom, okay, that's your mindset. But if y'all are doing things, and I mean doing things, just fucking and just hanging out, going to dinners, going this, even if y'all going to family events, eventually if y'all do that all the time on a regular, someone is going to catch feelings. Both of them.
And that's because y'all crossed the line. That's because y'all crossed the line. Look, there's a difference between having a friend with benefit, then messing with somebody, and then you go over the line. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
This is what I mean by that. What I mean is, okay, I've been in this situation before. And I made it very clear from the beginning. Okay, because we're just friends with benefits, that means you don't have the access to me to call me and say who you with, what you doing, this, like the questions that you don't get boyfriend obligations. You don't get that because we just friends with benefits. So why am I gonna give you boyfriend obligations? I don't know. We ain't gotta go out and have a time together just because we fucking. No, we don't. We do not. When you start crossing those lines intentionally, what do you think's gonna happen?
But sometimes it's not even intentionally.
Everybody's not mentally equipped to handle a friends with benefits situation.
No, they're not.
That's true.
They're
That's
not.
true.
And so that's why I said, if that's what you set out to be, then know the rules. You got to know the rules. We don't have to be out courting each other and shit just because we fucking each other. No, we don't. We ain't got to do none of that.
That's not what I was saying. No, I'm saying you're
no,
right.
But I'm saying that's what people need to understand.
Right.
Because people get a tendency to think just because y'all may be only sleeping with each other or whatever that, okay, because y'all have this chemistry as far as sexually, let me see if I can test the waters with this. And then it goes from that to something else and something else and something else. And the next thing you know, and then it got to the point where, he was acting out of emotions that shouldn't even been there. Everybody is not emotionally intelligent. There's a lot of people, and in this day and age, there's more people out here that are not emotionally intelligent than are.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what what the fuck is that?
Yeah. So you gotta be careful who you up in your body to, and see that's also how soul ties get connected. Because just because you messing on somebody,
you see how that rolled into that?
Yeah. Just because you mess with. My mom said you can't give everybody good. Because you give everybody good, you want to put it all the way down. You give them snippets. Don't give them the good. Because you give them the good, and then a person can't handle that shit. And they'll sit there and pretend like they can, but in reality, they cannot handle it.
That's true.
So, right.
Because they always try to say women are emotional creatures. They get a test and da-da-da-da. Sometimes it's the men. Sometimes we just, listen, I always say this, and I know it sounds horrible, but me being raised by like my grandmother and grandfather, but having a lot of uncles, and a couple of them was pimps. I'm so sorry to tell y'all the truth.
You like a nigga.
I'm something like a nigga. So with that being said, we can be like too. we can kick it and do all that. And I promise you, if I tell you
I ain't gotta call you the next day. I ain't gotta call you the next month. I ain't gotta call you the next week.
And we'll get pissed off at you and block your ass and not even give a fuck. Like that type.
I feel like men challenge themselves in that way, and then they trick themselves into a situation.
Yeah.
Sometimes they literally trick themselves into a situation.
Sometimes.
And women can too. Women can trick themselves into a situation because they thought they could handle it.
Absolutely.
But then, once they get that, you start getting on a consistent basis because they're just like, okay, well, he ain't messing with nobody else. That's why I said don't live in a fantasy in your head.
Right.
That fantasy gets you fucked up.
Listen, you gotta have thick skin. If you want to be out here talking about you're not going to be with me, and I can do this. I just want to that, and third, just be my sneaky link or whatever.
You gotta be a crocodile.
You
gotta be a crocodile
because you can't come back next week talking about but baby,
none of that. Hey, none of that.
I ain't got nothing to say with that one. I ain't got nothing to say on that. With that note right there, y'all, we got some good comments came in tonight. Hey, make sure y'all send in your announcement letters. We definitely will read that out, and we definitely gonna be coming hard with some great topics every week, every Monday and every Wednesday at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You know, so we definitely gonna come hard with y'all, and we ain't gonna hold back for one. So,
that ain't gonna never happen.
we ain't gonna hold back.
And that's okay, because I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all see what they say right there? Keep it cute. Keep it cute. That's all I gotta say about it. Because we gonna say our opinions. Y'all can say y'all opinions.
Come
but
for me.
Listen.
I'm ready.
I don't care if y'all come for me.
No, I said come for me. I'm ready. It's summertime. It's almost summertime. Come for me.
Not
I'm
in
coming out.
summertime. Not in summertime. we gonna keep it cute, y'all. Okay.
Oh, Christine,
I missed most of the show.
Well, you need to come on and be a guest. But on that note, yo, this is a Short Life Podcast crew, and we're out. You feel me?